Yo, I think we pretty much covered the time technology. I would want to say so. I don't know, but if not, rewind it and play it back. Um, there's a million and one different ways to make an electric piano. I'm just saying. Now, I know I have the resonator singing swords and stuff back in there. That's because we're probably going to carry on with that topic. But I just the resonators can be used, like I said, for physical modeling. You just have to manipulate them, and you have to understand where you're at and what you're doing. All right. Okay, so we pretty much covered stuff. What did we do? We covered strings, brass, and I want to say then I think we did the bass, cause I showed you guys how to cook it up with the singing swords in the bass. So yeah, you can basically cook up any instrument with that, but that's with live resonators. Okay, so we're using the resonator or oscillators that have volume. You can still use these things without volume. What you have to do though is that you have to manipulate what is going through the resonator, and we'll get into that right now. Alright, so continuing on with the resonator technology. Now we have the live resonator here. Pulse width is 0, all the partials is, what is it, singing swords, excuse me. Yeah. Still kind of sounds EP-ish. Now, what you want to do is you kill the volume to that. Volume's gone. Now, next, well, keep your footage to whatever you have, whatever you want it at. Right now, it's at 8. You guys have singing swords, you know what to do. Okay, so what does a resonator do? Well, it can be played and it can be as an oscillator in its own right. But it also can be used as a structure. So let's use it as one. Right now, filter 1, key tracking 100, cutoff 59. You already know redundancies. Follow along, please. We'll turn this to bandpass. We'll turn this bandpass up to 113. Because we needed to self-oscillate like that and create a sine wave. The mod source needs to be envelope 3. Envelope 3, you know you gotta shut it down. Decay and sustain, shut it down. FM source for filter 1 needs to be envelope 3, FM amount off, right? Redundant. Okay, so now we have the sine wave. Extremely loud. A little bit of release, right? Beefy sine wave. Whew. I love it. Alright. Now, before getting into that, let's go to the drive for filter 1, crank it all the way up, turn the oscillator 1 mod. Check it out. What happens? You're coloring it. Oh my god, easy ring mod FM type shit. Oops. Isn't that amazing? That's just Bombay, man. I love it. Alright. So now change the footages. Really beefy, right? Especially on a half of a partial. Oh my goodness. So, let's turn back up to 8. Now, we didn't even get into any serial filters and all that yata mashata shit. But we don't really have to, because I told you oscillator 1 modulation in the drive curve and cranking it on 127 is like coloring its FM because your frequency modulation. If you have nothing here, modulation, frequency mod, because this is a completely different frequency. Yes, it says it's at 8 foot, but we all know what I've already explained about how that software works and how the Blofeld interprets things. They're kind of like two different pages, but they're the same page. It's like two sides of a page though, right? Front and back. But what's on the front is not the same as what's on the back. We all know that. Because if they printed the same thing on one side of the page and the same thing on the other side, it would be a redundancy now, wouldn't it? Now, using this as a structure, okay, so let's turn on an extended resonator. What did I say? At 8 foot, there's 32 partials. This has 16, this one has 8, and this one has 8, but Singing Swords is a little bit fatter, right? So we turn on the 32 partials. Let's listen. Extremely inharmonic content. But these are things that you have to play with. You have to screw around with it. Alright, so let's shut this down. Let's go back to Singing Swords real quick. Alright, turn it back to 8 foot. And take this mod off. Now let's do a sound check comparison to the boombox. Set the AM/FM radio up, right? 71 on the cutoff and filter 2. FM source should be oscillator 1, right? Now the filters are in serial because you know it's the radio. AM, FM. Okay? FM. A thousand. Like I always say, a million ways to make an EP, right? Different type of tone. Alright. So, now, let's not do this. Let's say we don't even want filter 1 doing anything now. Let's run noise through a resonator. Piper, right? See, that's just like, it's really crazy. Now, why does it work like that? Okay, well, we have filter 1 bypass, so it's like, well, what the hell? Okay, so when you take filter 2's resonance and you crank it up, you see, you turn it to 113. Why? Well, that's self-oscillation. But you don't even have anything driving the filter anyway. Why? Because you don't. You have nothing driving it. And even if you had an FM source, something to create impulse, oscillator 1 would be it. But since there's an FM amount, guess what? Negation. You can't, because what the teacher showed us, it has to be set to off. But I also experimented and I told you that it still has to be set to off to get that impulse with oscillator 1 and 2 or 3 and noise, but you're gonna have to use drive to actually get the full effect of hearing it before you put the closed out envelope on stuff. Okay, but if you turn this, you're gonna kill whatever the hell's gonna impulse the filter anyway, because as teacher showed us, it has to be set to off. Now, as you clearly see, it says oscillator 1, 125, but we crank it all the way to max. What's 2 more notches, right? But you basically get what I'm saying. You have to be careful what you do and the numbers you're playing with, but you're sending noise through this singing swords. Simply done, because filter 1's bypassed. So if noise is going through filter 2, then it has to be FM sources. Oscillator 1 has to go through that as well. I hope you enjoyed that. That's some resonator technology with noise. That's how you get a Pied Piper type of flute. So that's like a woodwind type of tool. Cheaply done, quickly and easily. I hope you enjoyed.